Hello, and hopefully, yeah, we are live again. Good. Oh, good start, good start. Right, so welcome to another edition of Coding with Gerph, live coding with Gerph. And as you may know, if you've watched the series, we are working on a ARM disassembler and ARC64 disassembler for RISC OS. Hi, Alan. Hopefully today we'll be getting a bunch of bits cleaned up from the work that was done last week. So last week integrated the what was it called, Armadillo ARC64 system into the module and proved that it all worked and we could actually disassemble things, which was quite cool. But there were some bugs with it and it looked untidy, and the separation of the different repositories caused us a number of problems. So I have put together a small list of things to do to have a look at in the task board. So we have a task board over here in GitHub that shows what things we are trying to do. So where we left it last week was the ARC64 disassembly was integrated. So I'm going to go and move that across and say it's done. I'm going to say that I'm happy with that and we're done on it. Hopefully that'll actually be true, but for now it seems to be doing it's done a good job anyway. Right, just make that a bit smaller, that's better. Next thing was I had some problems with this where the build system for the ARC64 was being rather weird, and this was because although the components that I was building were being built locally, when we had multiple components coming together, they weren't sharing the header files and the like. So I quickly hacked that together and got it working, but it wasn't particularly nice. So over the last week, it's build environment problem, so I've fixed that independently. A huge amount of Perl changes and modifications to some of the shell code that sets up the build environment, all in order to make it pretty much invisible that things are different. Let me just scale that text up a little bit larger. I think it's is that better? Is that about the same size as the other one? I think so. It'll do anyway. So in order to make this work, I've got to set up this build directory. Now this is where it's going to put all the shared content. And if we have a look in here, this is the debugger C code. We've got have we got any files that I've built previously in here? Yeah, we have. I'll just go and delete those because I'm going to go and demonstrate that it actually is working. So make module as a build 64 and off we go. So it's now trying to build it. There we go. Dum-dum-dum, and we have a module. So if I now try and run that in 64-bit, there we go, and we can try and do a dump I command. We'll try and display the contents of that file. And what we'll see is, ta-da, it's doing stuff. However, it does have problems. So one of the things we look at here is that it's using lowercase mnemonics. That's not common for RISC OS users, so we want to capitalize that. We want to put spaces in here to make this a bit tidier. You might want to get rid of the dot in there because that's also not common. Maybe, not sure, we'll have a see. And also at the very top here, the beginning of it, it's printed out this with no mnemonic at the beginning, and that's definitely a bug. So a few things there going wrong. There's also things like these constants being OX blah. We can fix that as well. I think we'd already got some code that fixed that up in the what was it called? Yeah, brain has died. The ARM side, the 32-bit side. So yeah, there'll be some bits that we need to just clean up a little bit to make them more RISC OS-y. But proving the build environment is currently working, That's one of the things that was to be done. And over here we've got in the project, I've started putting together a list of the things that are broken. So we've got the broken first instruction that I've just pointed out, not being capitalized. Layout doesn't have spaces. And I also noticed that the CI, the test system that runs things in GitHub, is broken after we split the repo up. There's also some other things here that we'd like to do, some enhancements. May get round to those, but they may be low priority. Things like the immediate constants being commented. So like down here, we've got hex 10, there's that one there. Those sorts of things, I think we can probably make those get decoded in the same way as we did in the 32-bit version. If we go back to the board again, down here we've also got the Debugger C repository doesn't have any CI at all. So all of this I'd like to get done today. Whether I'm going to get it done today, I don't know. It's possible I may have to pop off line briefly today because there's other things going on today, but we'll see how things work out. Right, so first thing I'm going to do, what am I going to do first? Actually, I'm not sure what I'm going to do first. Should we start at the top of the list and have a see? Yeah, let's have a look at this and see what's going on here. So broken first instruction when disassembling Hello World 64. So that's interesting. What we do have in this is we have a separate tool, the dis file tool, and this can be used to just test things without it being in a module. So let's give that a whirl and see if that's also broken. Dis file build 64. There we go. Dum dum dum. Build that. It builds. Good. These warnings about being able to patch symbol names, that's because the length of the function prologue is too short to be able to patch it in. It's not an important message. It's just well, we're going to lose a little bit of our disassembly information. That's disassembly if something goes wrong. Anyway, okay. So this has worked. So let's try running it. So rather than a module, we're going to run the command. So command AIF64.disfile. Dis file hello world 64, and we'll just print it out and see what happens. Bum, bum, bum. Interesting. That's quite interesting. So in this instance, it's got the first mnemonic coming up there, which is kind of weird. That's so in the non-module version, it's working, but in the module version, it's not. Not quite sure what to do with that, but that at least gives us some information that something is a bit odd in that. So, what's going to be the best thing for us to do here? We may have to go and jump between Armadillo and the debugger to try and find out what's going on here. That isn't a terrible thing. We can do that. That's interesting though. Right, okay, so let's have a look, shall we? If we go into here, right, all of the code we use goes through Rodis, which is the disassembly tool, disassembly interface that pulls the two together. And there should be an Armadillo section. Here we go, disassemble through the Armadillo. Yep. And literally all we do is we call Armadillo disassemble, and then we've got a result with the decoded string in, which is just odd, isn't it? Because that should just work. There shouldn't be anything weird about that. Now, this could mean that there's some undefined behavior in Armadillo itself, which would be quite cool to find out. So what I'm going to do is, oh, hang on, let's have a look over here. I was running a CPP check there. It didn't get anywhere. So I was trying to analyze it to see what was going wrong, but apparently that hung, which is interesting. May have to do a bit more research on that in the future. Okay, so Armadillo is down here somewhere. Armadillo. Right, so we call into Armadillo disassemble, which presumably is in here. Ah, it's here in fact, right at the top of the function. And it literally, oh no, that's not, that's underscore Armadillo disassemble, that's an internal one. Let's just have a look and see if we can find the external interface here. Yeah, okay. It gets a new instruction, it calls Armadillo disassemble, sets the string to that. If we have a result, we do that, otherwise. Okay. Oh, this is if it fails. If it fails, go into this and just write out .long blah, the undefined word. Fair enough. That's interesting. Okay. But the mnemonic doesn't seem to be coming out. So let's see if the data is present at this point. So let's do a print out here. Instruction start out to decoded, it's called, and whether it has decoded the right thing. So I now need to make this RISC OS ammo, export the library, Armadillo library. There it goes, all exported, and then we can build. Since it doesn't show up in dis file, well, what I could do is build dis file, see what we get out of there, and then try it in the module and see whether that works. Ooh, that's interesting. It should have generated a new export, libarmadillo. It should have generated a new libarmadillo. Yeah. And it didn't, or it didn't notice that it had generated a new one. Does that mean that this hasn't exported it to the right place? Let me have a look. So the build directory is called built in here. Built export lib armadillo O directory. Do we have some new files? 114. Yeah, 114. That's now. Yeah, so it has built the new files here, but trying to build this file didn't use them. Did I set row build there? Oh, I did. Yeah, that's odd. Somebody's just asked, is it hard to code? It can be hard, but I've spent a lot of years doing things, so I know what I'm doing, and I'm trying to do some things that should be quite common. Here I'm fighting against my own problems with my library. Oh, hang on, no, it hasn't. It hasn't. The 64-bit library hasn't been updated. That's wrong. So why hasn't the 64-bit library? Echo row builder. That should be set to there, and it should have exported it, but it hasn't. Why is that? Oh, is this, if this is a library problem, I'm going to be cursing myself. Oh, let's have a look. RISC OS shell. So this takes me into the build environment. And I can have a look at the exported directory here. So this one here, export lib Armadillo. Ooh. So that's the directory there. Are they the same one? No, it hasn't put things there. Export, exports, So it should have put things there, but it hasn't. Here, this copy should have put them into the right place. Shouldn't it? Exports lib Armadillo, lib Armadillo. Oh! I'm stupid. I'm stupid. Yeah, that exported the 32-bit version. Here we go. Now I've exported the 64-bit version. Yes. So to answer the person's question, sometimes you make stupid mistakes as well because you forget what you're trying to do. So let's try this again. Build the disk file. There we go. It's relinked it, and then I can test it and see whether this new debug code has turned up. Has my new debug code turned up? Yes. Right. Just have a look at it. Right. So here it's printing out instruction is and blah. So if I build the module now and do the same thing, do we also get it broken? Where is it breaking? What magic is going wrong? Right. That's the one that runs the module version. Yeah, so it's broken inside the Armadillo library for some reason. Don't know why. Very weird. But it's definitely broken in there. Okay. So let's have a see if we can poke around in what it's actually decoded. So the Armadillo instruction up here is the ones that actually starts to do things. Right, I'm just going to make this window a little bit bigger, assuming I can pick it up. There we go. Right. This also gives me a good chance to understand how some of this works, because I didn't know how most of this worked. So it looks like there's a bunch of different classes of code. So data processing immediate, branch and execution and system commands, loads and stores, data processing, and then floating point ones. Okay, that looks interesting. So the and S R500, say X5 X0 X0 would be in a data processing function. So let's have a look at this one here. Data processing register immediate disassemble, which would be this function. Ooh, which isn't in the I've picked the wrong file. It's in this file here. There we go. Right. Add and subtract immediate. And subtract logical immediate. I think it would be a or is it a bit field instruction? It's probably a bit field instruction, isn't it? Let's have a see. Ooh, there are a lot of. Maybe I should just look for the and S. It's not in there. Or just and maybe? Nope. Alright. Is it in this one? Just have a look at it. Oh, it's in here. Disassemble logical shifted register instruction. Here's our table that contains and, bic, or E or N. Or N? I don't know what O or N is. And the and S instruction as well. Okay, so I mean, it's possible that I have broken part of the decoding code in here. It's entirely feasible. And if that's the case, then, well, that's me. But what we're going to do is work out why this and S is being lost. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 values here. I expect that to be 8 values actually. Index, out of bound. It does a check on that. So that should be instructs should be the string that it's decoded. So let's just stick in a printf to debug that. So in decoder table string equals %s. This is where I really need the debugger to be working, but I still haven't got around to doing it. Oh, but of course I have to go through all the hoops. We need to build Armadillo first. Oh, hi Anchor Tam. That was somebody from last week returning. Nice to see. Don't have very many viewers on this generally, so when people say hello and I actually remember who they are, that's quite nice. Yeah, so build that, build the module. And hi Dave as well. Dave is the author of our intro sequence and music. Oh, and Chris Williams too. Oh. Right, let's see what we got. In decoder string, table string equals nothing. So and S has been lost. Why is that? This table is just not coming out right. I don't quite get that. Let's do a %p as well. Just try and get out the value, and maybe, or let's just have a 0. Sorry, I'll print out the entire table so that we actually know what we've got in there. So less than 7, plus, table number %i, s equal, the string is tab %s, and id equals %i. Index tab index I dot instructor and tab. Is that going to work? Yeah, probably. Let's have a see. As I say, this would be where having a GGB debugger that I could actually like navigate through the code would be really useful. But that would mean integrating it into Pyromaniac, and I haven't got around to doing it, even though I've been saying I'll do it for the past couple of years. Is it binary searching the table? No, so it's actually just using a basic table index, and it's getting the index from the opcode. And N. Oh, and N. No, N's coming from that bits there, so it's possible. Oh, I should probably print out what the index is, shouldn't I? Yeah, I should probably do that. IDX equals %i, so we actually know what we're actually referencing it by. So I think, I've not looked at it, but I think this oob is actually doing a size of the table and trying to decide whether the data is out of bounds or not. And then we just look it up into there. Right, back to Armadillo, build that. Dum, dum, dum. So last week and this week, this is a meta discussion. Last week and this week, I've been trying to play with the what's it called, the bit rate that's used on the stream. I've pushed the bit rate up a bit higher so that hopefully things aren't as blurry and messy. But if things are problems on here, please just drop me a message and say that it's not working and what sort of resolution you're using on what device. I can try and investigate that. I've also been playing a little bit with the OBS tools to try and make some other things. I've added a little bit of a blend around the outside of my image, just as a playing about with that and seeing if that works. All meta things. This is not just the live coding, but this is the I'm learning about how to actually do this sort of thing. Because honestly, it's new to me, and I'm trying to see what I can actually do with it. I had a long chat to Chris Williams about some of this, Chris and Dave about this, and Dave says it adds to your ethereal glow. Yeah, okay. Oh dear. Well, that table doesn't seem to be right. That's not good, is it? Why would that be broken though? Isn't it the same sort of table as all the other ones? So this table here is a struct itab tab, and there are many of these, I thought. Struct itab. Yeah, there's one there for the ads. Another one there for ADC. And do we have some ads and ADCs in here? No, we don't. We've got some MOVs, LDP. Oh, it's possible, therefore, that all of these are broken. Because that implies that my, what's it called? Relocation code is broken as well, which would be pretty bad. Have a look in here. So that's the address it was running at. It was looking at. Index 6 is an empty string. I wonder if I print out. Oh, I've lost my code. Just undo. There we go. There we go. Oh no, well, that was the wrong file, wasn't it? It's this file. Undo. There we go. Maybe if I just print out %p as well. I'm wondering if my relocation code hasn't taken account of something, and so everything's ended up off by like 4 bytes or something in this particular instance. That would be really dumb. Oh, you can't just run it. You've got to build the code first. All right, what did I do wrong there? Oh, I didn't build the code, that's what. Oh, I'm so stupid. This is another place where having a IDE that you just press one button on and it builds all your dependencies would be nice, but I will get to the point where I've got things working first. Right. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, let's make this a bit bigger, is I'm going to do command GOS after this. Let's put that in quotes so it doesn't break things. Right, so what's going to happen is we're going to do the dump and then we're going to drop into the command line and we can have a look at things. Boom, boom. So what we can do is we can go and have a look at this address and have a see what's in there. memory I. Okay, that's convincingly empty. Surprisingly empty, actually. Wonder why. That does imply that we're not initializing those values, which is very, very wrong. Let's see if we can just do it from a bit earlier on. So 200 plus DO, all the data. It's all zeros. Suspicious. However, can we make this work by changing the table to be static? Because there's no reason for it to be local to this function. If I do that, does it start to work? Interesting that this is only happening on the module version. It does imply my linker is broken. No, don't do that. Stop magic porridge pot. Okay, and try again, and drop us to a prompt as well. So this time we've made it static, and now we get values. So it's quite likely that all of my tables are broken like this, but having them static is actually a better answer. Probably also they should be const most of the time as well, but for now this is fine. Okay. Oh, that's a point. Yes, those addresses. This is a module. It shouldn't be referencing it down in application space. That definitely is broken. Oh dear. I'm going to need to have a look into that, but not in this session because, I mean, I could, but the thing is, if I start looking at this, there's a lot of stuff about linker scripts and how my internal relocations work, and it's very complicated and way outside of getting the debugger to work. And if it fixes it by just making the table static, and that's a better answer anyway, let's do that. So, let's give that a whirl. Actually, let's just get rid of our debug first. Get rid of all our debug. See that things are working. So this one here, yeah, don't need debugging on there. And this one, yeah, we can get rid of this debug as well. Okay, so let's just rebuild that, prove that things work. Make the lib. And then build the module. That lib took a while to build. Interesting. Okay, now prove that this works. What I don't have here is another returning viewer from last week. Which is quite nice. Right. Okay, so that instruction is now working. But almost certainly there will be a whole bunch of others that are broken. So let us go and fix them all in one go. What we can do here is if I just take that out, we can go and replace, is it those keys? Nope, that was not the right keys. That was full screen. I clearly pressed the wrong button. That one there? Yes, search and replace. Here we go. Replace struct itab with static struct itab. Right, in all of the places. and that should fix all of the instances in this file. I wonder if you should look for them in the other files as well. Let's have a quick check and see if we've got... Nope, they're not used in that file. They are used in this file for many of them. So we can do a replacement on those as well. There we go. How about these ones? Have we got any in here? Oh, we got loads in here as well. Let's do those as well. Because this will actually be much more efficient anyway. All round. There's also a load and stores one here. Oh, that's... See, that one's been staticked. Are there any others? Find... That one's static. That one's static. That one isn't, so let's replace that one. And that one. Ooh. Oh, that's probably not the right thing. I didn't realise there'd be variables that did that as well. Oh no. No, some of this is going to break if I'd done a global replacement. A table that's got nothing in it. Well, that's weird. We'll do a replace on that though anyway. It's got a table that's got nothing in it. Let's just move on. Okay. Probably need to go and just... Oh, I'll compile it and see what happens. See what breaks. I mean, it's always a good way of doing stuff. Just see how you've broken it. Alan says, Gerph is currently debugging his debugger so he can debug bugs. It's quite a good description, I feel. Oh, that worked. Okay. If it's working, it's working. I'm going to leave it for now and we'll go and build this and do the disassembly again. And then run it and see that everything's working. Okay, it's now decoding things properly and that instruction is working. This is good, this is good. Oops, no, I'm still in the supervisor there. Okay, so no changes in this part of the code. Armadillo has got some changes. So we've got lots of changes of these tables. That one's wrong. Let's have a see if we can just find instances of that. Grep for dot star null. Anything that ends in that's got a semicolon on the same line is probably going to be one of them. So C/star. Static struct itab. That should have caught that one, shouldn't it? I feel that should have worked there, and it hasn't. Why? Shouldn't it recursively? That's odd. Having it recursive didn't make it work. I don't know why that is. Okay, I have a little tool like this that can let me just go and edit those lines. However, that's not working either. There we go, that's done it. So that one doesn't want to be static. That one doesn't want to be static. Nor that one. And that one. Cool. All right. Let's do my diff again. We should be seeing these only being initializations. Oh, just skimming through them to see that there's no actual variables. Yeah, that looks good. Workaround for broken relocations in RISC OS build environment. Structs inside functions were not being relocated properly. They were left pointing at the application space. This is a build environment bug, but working around it by making the structures static when they don't change is an improvement anyway. Good. Good. I think that's sensible. There we go. And we can push that. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. And what I should have been doing is updating my table. So here we go. The build system being weird. It is still being weird. I'll have to make a note on this. So build system being weird. Can I have a look at it, please? Thank you. Whilst the linking appears, so the compiling appears to have worked properly, linking of structures in the local. Somebody's asked, what do you need an assembler for it to be Turing complete? So long as it's got things like loops and conditionals, I believe that's all you actually need. Loops, conditionals, and variables, I think, are the main things. However, I've never been completely clear on Turing completeness since uni. It's been too long and it's faded from my mind, unfortunately. Linking of structures in the local functions is now broken. It's not relocating them within the module workspace. Workspace, yeah. This was the missing mnemonic bug. All right, so that describes what's wrong there. This isn't an enhancement. I don't know why I labeled it as an enhancement. It's a bug. Let's go back to that and close that. And I can also move it back over here because it's not in progress at the moment. It's also not for this. But this broken instruction when we're disassembling, we're now getting the and there. So I can say this is complete. And close it by dragging it, because then it goes to the right place. Done! Woohoo! Next thing, mnemonics aren't capitalized. So Daredevil's asked, what's an ARM disassembler? So ARM is an instruction set. It's used by many different processor variants from ARM. If you're using one of the modern Macs or an iPhone, you're using an ARM. In fact, if you're using most mobile phones, you're using an ARM. So that is what we are doing. And the disassembler specifically is the decoding of the instructions into text. So that is what we're doing at the moment. Next bit is to tidy it up so that the mnemonics are capitalized. So what we're going to be doing is not that. Go over here. If we have a look at these, we're going to be making these mnemonics capitalized, which should be easy. Should be. We'll have a see. So to do this, we want to go into the code that manages it, and I think we've actually already got some stuff that does capitals here. So let's see if we can search for upper. Yeah. So in the regular code, the regular ARM code, we already have some code that goes and turns this into uppercase. So what we can do is we can go and use this automatically. It's not automatic. We can copy this code and just put it into the other one, which should be quite easy. It's in the Armadillo. So we need to capitalize the mnemonic. Actually, we can do this as we copy it. So what we're doing here is we're taking a copy of what's been decoded and putting it into our buffer. But if we go and do this in 2 parts, we can actually make this much better. So let me just successfully decoded is true. S equals AD2 decoded. So this is the our string is now pointing to the start of the decoded mnemonic disassembled instruction. Actually, let's put that into the for statement so it looks nice. We want to go as either until we get to at the end, or we get to S is not a 0, not a space. So everything up to the first space or the end of the line is now going to be capitalized, and we'll write it into the all right. We'll change the name of these. I'll call one in. This is our input, very very cunningly named, and one that's going to be the output, which is in our buffer. Out. Start out plus plus. In. Right, there we go. So capitalize the mnemonic. Okay. If start in is if we're done, then if we're not, if it's a space, then we can continue, but we need to space things out. Put some spaces in. Start out plus plus equals space. So at least one space will be output, and then while we can also do output a space, and then just keep going until we get to 8 characters. While out is less than ampersand buffer bracket 8, so that'll then copy some spaces into it to 8 characters. Now copying the operands, that's the word. Sorry, brain completely went dead there. We're now copying the operands. Yeah, some questions on the chat about what the difference is between compiler and the like. Compiler and disassembler. So we're pointing at the space, so we've still got the space now. I'll make that in plus plus, and then that'll skip us the space. So we just want to copy the operands to their easiest thing to do is just do struct copy to buffer from to the output position from the input, and that will give us everything nicely lined up. And we can get rid of this. So what we should have now is capitalized mnemonic and then some spaces. Don't know if that's going to work, but let's give it a whirl. Rebuild. Oh dear, that was not right. I own. So out plus. What's wrong with that? Uninitialized variable out. Oh, yep, that's true. I haven't initialized it. Good point. And you didn't spot that IONN was wrong. Very silly. I don't know what I did there. Clearly got confused. Build it. Something. Now run the actually, I could put the two together, couldn't I? Because there's my runner, and here's my builder. Where's my builder? This bit here. That and run. We don't need to drop the command line. We can just run the dump. Ooh, look at that. We now have the mnemonics capitalized, and we have everything nicely lined up. Cool, that's quite cute. All right, which also means that mnemonics capitalized, that's done, and layout doesn't have spaces. That's done as well. Capitalize mnemonics in 64 and format with spaces. The mnemonics in AR64 are now capitalized, and we have spaces up to 8 characters. At least one space will be included. Right, so that'll look nice. But I think there might be some mnemonics that are actually longer than 8 characters, because there are some crazy mnemonics in there for system operations. But that is good. I'm going to go and push that so it goes to the Git repo, and people can have a look at it if they wish. All right, so that is 2 bugs fixed. If we go back to the table, we've now got the Darm CI is broken after we split the repo. Yep, it is. And the best thing for us to do is to try and transfer most of the CI that was in Darm into the other bit, the disassembler module, because it was all built into there originally. I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to do, but we will give it a whirl. All right, let's have a look at Darm. Let's go and have a look at Darm. So just minimize some of these bits here and then have a look in Darm itself. So Darm has, that's Armadillo, I don't want that, I want Darm. Thank you. Right. Sorry, the text on the sidebar is a little bit smaller. I apologise for that, but that's not what I wanted. Ooh, being a bit slow there. There we go. So we've got some GitHub workflows here that tell it what to do. And so largely we're building this on, building on RISC OS. This is the job name here. We get the prerequisites, we go and build the POSIX version, and then we go and build the RISC OS version. Okay. And then we copy some bits around. All right, that doesn't look too bad. And then when we want to build a release, we build the release here, and that includes what was in the archive. Well, that's quite interesting, actually. So for now, let's go and we want to copy this lot over to the module version, so we get the same build system in there, and then we'll try and work out what we're actually doing. So to do that, I'm going to use Beyond Compare again. So Beyond Compare is just a comparison tool that lets me compare different source trees. So I'm going to go back to there, compare the Darm repository, that's this one here, with the RISC OS disassembler. RISC OS debugger, sorry, that repository there. So, where have you gone? Okay, you've appeared on a completely different monitor. Let's move you over here. Right, so hopefully this is readable. I've tried to make the text a sensible size for you. It's not quite as big as the other stuff, but it's not bad. What we need to do is copy across, just copy across the whole of this workflow here. We'll tweak that and make that work. We also need to copy across this RO build, which is the stuff that actually tells it what to do. And that's probably all we need here. I don't think there's anything else that does magic. Nope, I think that's good. So I'll just move that out of the way for now. And then we'll start looking at Darm and making Darm do some useful bits. Oh, bum 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 bum. Right, so what of this do we need to do? We need to do the build process to get the libraries. And then the result of that is we get out another archive. So we can look at that. Let's have a see then. Yeah, everything is just offloaded into the row build file. So what we do is we export the library, export limited. What does export limited mean? Where's the file? Can't find it. Oh, because it's in the RISC OS directory. Here we go. Makefile lib. Export limited. Oh, we cut out the 26-bit because, yeah, we don't need 26-bit. It's rather pointless. But we do get the 32-bit builds. Yeah, that's right. I wonder if I should have an option to not build 26-bit so I don't have to do this. Problem for another day. So, yeah, let's go and see what we can do on that. Don't want to look at Armadillo, please. Where was I? Sorry, I was looking at the row build file. Where did you go? There, thank you. Right, so we're going to want to build the library. We want to build the example, but the FPA test is not part of the things we were interested in. We do want to run the example though, don't we? What's the example called? AF32. Oh, that's in the debugger, not that one. I want the one in here. AF32. I don't know. RISC OS AMU and F makefile example. It's just called AF32.darm. And if we run it, it doesn't do anything special other than just print out a symbol decoding, I think. AF32.darm. But that proves that it would work. Yep, there we go. It decodes one instruction. Wonderful. Maybe the example code should be expanded a little, but right now that'll do. So makefile example, and then run the example code. So AF32.darm. We don't have any of that anymore. We don't want these files exporting, so we're not actually doing any of this stuff here. Simple smoke that's complete. Right. What we do want to export though is the libraries, so that if anybody wants to build to use this, they can. Where are the libraries? They will have been put into the exports directory. They'll have been put into the exports directory, won't they? Yeah, well, we can do that. What files do we actually export? Let's clean it. So, clean the library. It's the 32-bit version of the library, please. Ah, right, so this tells us what the files are that we're exporting. This is quite handy. I suspect if I export the entire exports directory, it's going to give me a lot of stuff. I think there's a lot. I don't know, actually. I'm really not sure. I know what, we'll list it. We'll see what happens. So if we do cat exports exports $dir .lib .darm. Actually, we'll probably just, yeah. It's only the Darm directory we actually care about, isn't it? So almost certainly I can just copy into artifacts libdarm, or just call it darm. Actually, libdarm. And also, if we copy the example file, that's also useful because then people can run it, I suppose. Just prove that it does work. Actually, is it really useful? That is not a good example, the Darm code. It literally just prints out a message. We'll just have it as a library, I think. That's probably what we really need. And then the artifacts directory will be archived. Okay, that looks good to me. Dum dum dum. Yeah. And there was nothing else special inside the GitHub workflows here for this. It's just giving it a version number, which is fine. And then we export the artifacts. Just change that to say, but we've got library instead. I think that's all right. I think that should work. Probably. All right, well, let's give it a whirl. Check out -b, create a new branch so we can put these changes on. CI fix after repo split. Commit -a. If we just check what we've actually got in here. Have I been changing the wrong files? Ugh. Well, that's kind of disappointing. I feel silly now. No matter. So I've been editing the RISC OS Debugger one when I should have been editing the Darm ones. So that's my own stupid fault. Let's go and move them around. So move .rowbuild YAML to be .rowbuild.yaml.original. Move /debugger. Yeah, .rowbuild, the one we've just been tinkering with, to here, and then move rowbuild no, the original one to /debugger rowbuild. Right. We'll go back to the editor here. This should have undone all of those changes. And if I go back to the one that's in the Darm, where's it gone? Here. That's now got the changes in. Yeah, I feel a bit dumb. Yeah, that looks good. I've just realised that I don't need to list that directory, do I? Oh, it'd be useful to. It'd be useful to. All right, so git status git commit -l. Ow, my fingers. What did I just do? I've just made update the CI so that we only run the Darm tests. Tests, and then export the library. Push. And if we go into Darm here, do we see it having created a job for it? It does! So, let's watch the tests and see if they work, shall we? There we go. It built it locally, and now it's sending it off to the build service. It's trying to build it there. And this is a bit slower, as it's obviously, maybe not obviously, but it's doing it through the emulation on the build service. I have some speed ups available to try and make this run a bit faster, but I haven't got around to applying them to the service at the moment. Well, they're there, I'm not sure if they could turn them on. It's another thing to have a look at. Also, these line numbers are garbage. I don't know what's gone wrong with it, but the most recent build of my compiler for RISC OS has got absolutely insane line numbers in it, and I'm assuming this is a problem with the data width on something. I've assigned something a short or something when it should have been a long. Just very odd. I'm not sure why. I haven't been quite so inclined to go and fix it just yet, but it definitely is one that needs looking at. Oh, this is tedious, isn't it? So usually I do about an hour and a half and then have a break, so for 10 minutes or so. If this starts working and we can get the bits into the debugger as well, so that debugger runs CI, I'll take a break then and have a see what we can come back to, because I think there's a lot of other things I can do with the debugger as well, with the CI in the debugger module. Hey, it's working! So the frustrating part of this is it builds everything and then you find only at the very end that something's gone and broken in the code. So yeah, a little bit of silliness there. Got quite a few viewers. This is not a usual number of people, to be honest. Chris says it's pretty amusing to see Norcroft running on GitHub. I think there's something of an oddity in how I view things, because that's normal for me. And same goes for the, so I'm pointing at the screen, you can't see it, but I'm pointing at the screen. It's normal for it to be running on GitHub. It's just like I'm running things on macOS and I'm building things with both Norcroft and GCC. Certainly Chris says the CI infrastructure, yeah. No, it hasn't really been picked up by anybody else that does the CI's things. One of the things I have been looking at, and we'll look at shortly, is the test code in this, because I pinched it from my message trans. One of the other modules I've been converting to C is message trans, and I've got a working version now that I'm very happy with. And that actually runs almost the same tests in GitHub for the 32-bit runs as I run in RISC OS Pyromaniac. So all of the Python message trans module is also being tested in the same way, and I can see that the output comes out pretty much the same, and that proves that it is working. And it means that the tests that I wrote, I only had to write them once, and so it comes out quite nicely. But the code that's done on that is quite good. Oh, look at that! Look at that! So this is the example code. Example code ran, and then we exported the built version, we listed what was there. There's a H directory and an O directory. We copied it over. Not copying is a directory. Well, that was utterly useless. Bother. I thought I put it as... Oh, there's a not recursive in there. Oh. Well, bother. Git commit everything. Amend to the previous commit, so it just pushes it through. Sorry, save, and then push it. Git push minus force and update, because otherwise our archive contains nothing, which is not very helpful. Right, builds it again. So that took 4 minutes to build. So it'll take another 4 minutes to build here. Wow, bother. Yeah. So talking about the CI infrastructure, the infrastructure is relatively easy to use, and there's examples of how to throw things at it from all of the what are they called? RISC OS CI components. So if you have a look in here, you should see that we've got. There we go. Oh, it isn't labelled as RISC OS CI. Well, I'll add that. RISC OS CI. So that'll mean that it's marked, and there are a number of components that are able to be used with CI system. So all of these do CI through the build service. There's quite a few of them, almost all of them by me, because nobody else has been particularly bothered. But that means that they can then... this is also lying as well, isn't it, now? Because this is RISC OS as a library. Anybody could take examples of that code and use it. And the CI is also documented on the build service itself. So the build service is here, build.riscos.online. This build service provides the actual how you build things. You can do it either interactively here, or there's instructions here on how to use the service API and how to automate it with Git as well. And the instructions for automating with Git also include how to build it into GitHub and GitLab. So here's the GitLab examples, which are much simpler, much shorter, because they're not quite as complex. The GitHub ones, there's a lot more cleverness. Oh, I think all of this code is actually wrong now. Oh, I probably need to update that, because create release version 1 doesn't exist anymore, and those don't exist. Well, all right, I can fix that later. But it is all documented anyway. Possibly documented wrong, but documented. Right. Yeah, sorry, distracted by talking about random things. This is nearly there. Hopefully this will actually build okay. Fingers crossed. Oh. Yeah, it's still doing its build. It's another 2 minutes. No big deal. I would go and try starting something else and looking at other bits, but if I try and get too distracted, I'm going to either lose track of what I'm doing, which, as you may have guessed, is quite easy, or yeah, I've already lost track of what I'm doing, or I'll forget and I'll need to come back and then do another context switch. One of the reasons I'm a little bit confused tonight is I spent a good amount of time last night trying to fix the build environment so that problems we were seeing last week were actually working. I had real difficulty concentrating throughout the week and getting anywhere with it. Some personal problems that I'm just not not managing to get myself focused at the minute. But yeah, I was up till stupidly late. I think it was about 4 a.m. when I went to bed last night, which is not sensible, particularly not at my age. Could do it when I was a teenager. Can't do it these days, not as easily anyway. So yeah, got the build environment working, with the exception apparently of this relocation problem, and consequently we can actually run things. Right, are you done? Are you done building the example? Yeah, go on, do it. Thank you. Hey, you copied lots of files. Woo! And we get out an archive. So there's our archive, and if we go back to the job summary here, here's our archive. So I can copy that, copy link address, that's the one. Go over here, and just make a directory, temporary directory here. So you go wget that. Boom, boom, boom. What do we not found? Oh, yeah, because is it because I need to copy that link instead? Copy link address. Not found. Huh. Why does that not work as a curl then? Surely that should. Can regular users not access that? I'm not sure. Well, apparently I've downloaded it, so if we just have a look here. Open Finder. There we go. Lots of things. Lots and lots of files. Unzip -L, list all of contents. Right, and the reason it's got a zip file inside a zip file is because when we're archiving these things, we use the RISC OS format. So we actually want to use RISC OS unzip Darm here. If we do RISC OS unzip, it should extractors lib list everything recursively. There we are. Look, that's text files, which is correct, and these have come out as untyped files. There'll be data. That looks good to me. We have libraries. Woo! All right, so CI is now working. I think we can go and merge that. Check out master, merge, I don't actually need to use NoFF, so no fast forward means don't just bring the branch up to date with the other branch. The reason I like doing that is because it shows that I took a branch off and then came back in again, which also implies that this was code that I felt was less safe, and so I just moved it away for it to do things elsewhere. I didn't have to do that. It's kind of a bit, I don't know, historical information sort of thing, so I can actually see it. It also means that when I do git log here, I can actually see that there was a branch off and then it came back in again. This isn't a very good pattern if you're in a large company, because you end up with hundreds of branches and merge messages. But anyway, that's what I've done. Right, let's push that onto the master branch, and then we'll do we'll go and tidy up the other side of it, the RISC OS debugger side. Oh no, this is harder, isn't it? Because I need to actually link the other repositories as well. So yes, okay. Right, this is going to be more than a 10-minute bit of work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and take a short break and probably grab some food for myself quickly. So about 10 minutes and then I'll come back. What I plan to do when I come back is fix up the CI inside the debugger module. And that will mean making it pull in Armadillo and Darm and building it. And there's a number of ways I can do that, but I think I'm going to do this with a submodule link. It'll also make it clear what we're doing. Okay. All right. I will see you all in a little while. Hopefully, about 10 minutes time. All right. Back in a mo. Hello, we're back. Kinda. I'm vaguely awake. Apparently can't do maths, but vaguely awake. Okay. What were we doing? What were we doing? Right, yes, we were trying to get the CI working for the debugger module, which requires that we build in Darm in order to build it. And there's two ways we can do that. We can have a submodule and build it, or we can just pull in the last working version, working release. And I think it would be useful to I'm going to make it, if I make it build it, then it means it takes 4 minutes for it to go and build it on for Darm, and then it takes another 5 or 6 minutes for it to build Armadillo before it can even start on building the debugger module, which doesn't seem like a good plan. So let's go back to Darm here. Sorry, I'm tapping the desk. And let's create this as a release, shall we? So we create a release of this. So vmanage increment release number. Oh yeah, that I'm in the wrong directory. That's why. Vman. Oh yes, we've got a version number. Vmanage inc there. Now 0.07. So if we have a look in here, we'll see that there are already releases here. But those were the whole system and the module. We're now going to be reducing it down to just releases of the library, which is going to be more sensible anyway. So there's a update the version number for release 0.07. This is a library so that we can something or other. What are we doing it for? Why are we doing this? So we can build it into the debugger module. All right. There we go. Yes. Push that. Tag it with the 0.07 and push the tag as well. Now, this will trigger 2 sets of builds on here, which is awkward, but it will do that. This one should sit around being pending. Oh, it's not. It's actually gone off and kicked it off. That's interesting. I thought these were marked as... Oops, no, can't. No, yeah. Huh. I thought these were marked as having concurrency restrictions on them. Because if it tries building both of those simultaneously, it's going to take a lot longer. Because the system doesn't scale itself. So I've done something with the current concurrency before. I just can't remember where I did it. Where would I have done it? I imagine I'd have done it in RISC OS 64 status. Let's have a quick look in here. Let's see whether we've got a concurrency limit on this. I think we do. Concurrency limit, here we go. RISC OS build service and cancel in progress. False. So that's what we want. Copy that and put it into here. Where is it? Sorry, where was it? I've already forgotten. Oh, it's at the top level. Master and tags. So here we go. Yeah, like that. Only submit a single job at a time. There we are. So that'll then serialize them. And I want to commit that, but I don't want to push it, because if I go and push this again, that'll be a third one that will run, and that'll go and break things. I mean, the service is okay, but it does find itself getting overrun if we're not careful. So diff, yeah. Add concurrency limit so that we do not swamp the build service. The build service runs on a T3 small, so it doesn't really have a lot of power behind it. As such, running the jobs in serial will allow them to run properly rather than something or other timing out. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay. So, not going to push that because it will then go and hit it and make it slower. It's running slower. You can see it's a bit slower, but yeah, not too terrible actually. I'm actually quite surprised at how fast it's running. Yeah, I need to do some other bits to make this a bit faster, but we'll look at that later. Right, so the other thing we can do is we can do the same thing with Armadillo. So if we compare the Darm over here and Armadillo here, we can have the same automation running on both of them, because they do the same thing. They literally just run commands, run builds, and then produce the results. So, do I want to close this window? No, I don't. No, just I'll hang on to that. It's useful when I come back to things later. Right, and then we can move back to Armadillo here and have a look at this. Add.github. And /.rowbuild.yaml. Ta-da! Okay. Trying to apply my brain. It's not good. Right, anyway, yeah, let's try to apply brain to this. Armadillo, find the GitHub actions here. So if we have a look in here, again, we've got the concurrency thing, that's right. Download that. We don't need to build the POSIX version to get the headers. That doesn't need it for this one. Get the version. It's not called Darm, so we can just fix that up there. This is called Armadillo. And the library should be, all the release stuff should be exactly the same. It is. Good, good. But we do need a version num file in order to make this sensible. So we can go and put a version num file in there. Just to so vmanage init version 0.01. Yeah, looks good. So we've added the workflows. We've got to add the version num file as well. Also, I need to update the row build file here because I don't know what the thing's called here. What's it called? It's called make example. And when we make the example, we get something called Armadillo example. So let's just change that to Armadillo example. And of course, these uses of Darm here should be Armadillo as well. Oh, Armadillo. And Armadillo. Ta-da. Okay, that looks pretty sensible to me. Although I don't think we've actually got export limited. Do we have export limited here? Except we probably do want to build it only with the 32-bit version. We don't want to get the other ones. Let's tell it to do that actually. So we pull up our compare tool again. We can go and have a look at the RISC OS directory and the lib builder. There we go. Don't care about that. That should have been what we have. Oh, I'm not going to touch that. Okay. Don't build for 26. Yeah. That needs to go over there. Cool. Save changes. Yes. Good. Right. So I think that should discuss ammo -f makefile lib export limited. Oh. Yeah, that did the job. Okay. Add CI build of the library and exports. On GitHub, which triggers a build service to build the library. Yeah, that probably will work. We'll have a look at it in a minute. So let's just jump back to where we were with the Darm builds. Oop, the release worked, it looks like. Download the binary, create release. Looks like it did the job. And if I go to Darm here, releases 4, we have version 7. Okay. This is a release of just the Darm library built for 32-bit. It will be used by the whatever it's called, debugger module in the RISC OS debugger C repository. Should probably give it the real name. What's the real name? This one here. Oh, I don't want that bit. Give me just the top level. There we are. Oop, no, that's not the way I wanted to go. I want to go this way. Bing. Oh, that's made it a nice link as well. Preview that. Oh, I've got a slash on the end of it. Dot. Okay. Set as latest released and publish. And if we look at the actions, we see, yeah, both built okay. So normally it takes 4 minutes 30 seconds, and it took about 6 minutes when there's 2 of them running. So it's got a bit of concurrency on there, but it's not quite able to parallelize it. Okay. Darm now working and CI'd, all good. Let's go over to Armadillo, and we've got this change I've just put in, which will start adding the CI. So we should really put this on a branch. Git checkout -b introduce CI. Push that. I didn't mean that. I meant minus undo commits that I'm not up to. I've not got that there. Dash CI dash. I should discard it. Okay, good. All right, so let's have a look at what we've got in Armadillo. It says it's adding the CI, so this should take a little while. This one should take a bit longer, but fingers crossed it will work. It is quite a bit more complex as Armadillo, so I'm expecting it to take longer, but that should be okay. Right, whilst that's building, I'm going to just leave it building, and I'm going to just take a very quick short break for a moment, and I'll be back in a second. All being well, it should have started building. Stupid line numbers, what's going on with these? It's gone backwards! This is what makes me think I've used a short somewhere in there, and it's just using it wrongly. Or there's a union and it's writing to the wrong section. I'm not wrong element. I'm not really sure, but definitely not looking right. Okay, back in a sec. I'm back. Yeah, it's still building. Yeah, it just takes a while. So that will get us the Armadillo side. And we know that we can extract the Darm side because that went into that directory that I deleted. So we've got bits there. Oh, I need to push that down, so that's the concurrency limits. So concurrency limits here are only related to the single repository. They're not across repositories. So if I was to push things to Armadillo and Darm, it would come up in a different place. But yeah, that's just the way it goes, I suppose. Alan said there was a rule DGE had a problem with line number issues, and often 5 to 10 lines out of sync with where the issue was. I seem to remember there was something odd about whether you put carriage returns in the file, it tended to get out of sync. Not quite sure I remember that, but yeah, I think this is just very broken. I'm not really sure why. I'm going to have a look at the code and see. I mean, maybe it's counting bytes instead of lines. I mean, that's unlikely, but I don't know. I'll have to listen. And it definitely was something that I've changed recently because I'm sure it was working previously. Positive I had it working. Yeah. Something to look at later. Gosh, this is taking a while, isn't it? It does take a long time. So it's just 7 minutes. We've got a limit of 10 minutes on the job as well. So if this doesn't run in 10 minutes, then we've got a problem. I think that's because where is that? I think it's because the WebSocket proxy only stays alive for 10 minutes. You right there? Oh yes, and of course there's going to be problems in this because of the fact we're using long shifts. So there's going to be some bits that are broken at the moment, but these are things that we can all get fixed at a later date. Not a terrible issue. It's mostly just getting the thing working is the issue here. Right, so whilst that is going, and hopefully it will complete, if it doesn't then I'll rework it. Because we can use the JSON form instead of the WebSocket form, or we can talk directly to the back end, which doesn't have the issue. That might be better. Yeah, I will probably. Well, yeah, I'll have a see. I'll have a see. There's different ways I can do that. Right. So if we have a look in the debugger here. You all right? So Taylor dropped something going down the stairs. Very easy to do. Oh, it's finished. It's finished. Just finishing, and we're 9 minutes. Oh my gosh, that was tight. All right, we may have to do something to make that work better, but for now this is actually doing a good job because it's actually built everything and looks like we've got the artifacts as well. So I'm going to need to do a release with this, aren't I, which is another 10-minute job. Issue CI, we're working. I didn't need to do anything else with that, so actually yeah, there we go. Tag 1 push origin. Just push that one so that we've got the tag pushed, and then we can get the exported version in the release. Interesting, just noticing this. I seem to remember making a comment previously about the fact that this value came out, floating point value came out wrong. I can't remember which version it was in, but it may be something we need to look at later. But for now, git push tag. Oh dear, no, that's not a valid command. There we go, that's better. Pushed. Right, so with that pushed, it means that this will take another 10 minutes to build, because, yeah, it does. But we'll get a release out of it, which will be good, and we can start using it. Meanwhile, back in RISC OS Debugger land, this is RISC OS Debugger. What we've got is obtain prerequisites for the build tool, fetch the build client, make the tool, make the POSIX version. We don't need that because there isn't a POSIX version for this, it's just this version. Build it, time out of 10 minutes, which is the limit. And then we link against there. But in order for this to work, we need to have the other two archives. So we need to obtain the, oh, I've forgotten its name, Darm library. Run we can just do a curl of that. So same thing as we did before, but we don't need to make it executable. In fact, the whole of that URL is wrong now, isn't it? The output is going to be darm libdarm.zip, and we need to find what the URL is for that. Releases, this one here, copy, come on, there, paste. Did I not copy the right thing? Copy link address I should have copied. Oh, no, wrong one. Don't replace that one. Replace this one. That's it. So that'll get us our Darm library. But we need to extract it as well. And in order to extract it, we need to have we need to extract it as a in RISC OS format. So I do this somewhere else as well. Where do I do it? Oh, it's not robuild.yaml, ci.yaml. There's going to be a lot of these, isn't there? No, not .ci, just ci.yaml. /ci.yaml. Okay. In any of those, look for. There's a Python tool that I've got that does the extraction of this, and I've forgotten how to do what it's called. RISC OS Python zip library. What did I call it? Python zip info RISC OS. Command line usage. Row zip info. If I look for the phrase row zip info, I don't need mine as R on that. And I just look in those files. Apparently I've got it in a few of them. Probably Chucky Egg is a good one. Private Eye I put it into a while back. That's interesting. So let's have a look at the Private Eye one. Rosip info. That's doing an archive, but all it needed was that to get the tool. Oh, that's quite easy. And then we create the archive here. Ensure that typeless files come out as text. Oh yeah, that was something that Dave mentioned that was breaking it, because they were otherwise coming out as data, weren't they? Yeah. That's actually not a problem in this instance. So, obtain RISC OS archive management. Ensure that Python 3 is installed and pip, and then install rosip info. Good. And then we can do the magic command to extract it, which was Python 3 rosip. I'm not creating, I'm extracting. Lib Darm.zip. I think that's how you do it. I can try this out here. Download a file. And I've already got rosip in zip info installed, so I should be able to just do this and have it extract it. Oh, maybe I've not written Python 3. There we go. Zip decompress. Yeah, that looks pretty decent, I think. Have a look in there. We've got the lib directory, libdarm h. It's got some text files in it, and we've got some O files. Got some O files. Awesome. So that will leave us with, we now have lib/darm. With H and O directories in. Armadillo. Let's replace that. I need to replace this with Armadillo. Oh, can't type. Right, so I just need to get the release of that when the release completes, which is 7 minutes it's been running. Yeah, been working on it, been doing good. So here we get the build tool, the runner tool. We get the archive management, ARM library, Armadillo library, and send everything over to the build service. I could have extracted it on RISC OS as well, rather than extracting it here. It's probably faster to extract it here and then zip it and send it over. Probably. Not sure. Either way, it's working. Oh, we can get rid of the library as well, can't we? The archive, so libarmadillo.zip can be removed. And here, libdarm.zip, we can remove that there as well. And then I'll send it all to the server, and then hopefully at the end of it, oh, it calls it Darm at the end of it. We want to call it Debugger, don't we? We'll call it Debugger C. We still haven't come up with a good name of it. It was suggested Bit Peeler. Not sure about that one. But we've got Debugger C as the repository name right now. And should just be able to do that. Library. Oh, I couldn't spell library apparently. Library. There we go. And if we have a look in the row build file here, we don't need to export the library. We don't need to make the example. Oh, we do have this file, don't we? This file is useful. I'll call it this file tool. Maybe we should run this file to prove that it works. Probably we should, shouldn't we? Not analyzer, sorry. Slash f32.dis file. Does hello world exist? I think we've got hello world checked in, haven't we? Yeah, it is checked in. So we can do this file hello. Just hello underscore world, yes. Then the FPA tool. Oh, I did have this file in there. And actually, yes, this should go second because it's oh no, what have I done? What have I done? I've copied the wrong bits. Yeah, this is not working out. I think I'm just a little tired. Then we build the module. Then we've got the debugger and the disk file exported. We load the debugger. We exercise star memory. We exercise star memory I. And that proves that things are working. We can also exercise star dump I. Star dump. Oh, very star left. Dump I of hello world. And if any of these commands fail, it'll go and bomb us out and leave us with a broken build, which is good. Okay, our release has completed over here. Yeah, got release done. Yeah, it built a binary. If we go out to here, we should see the release actually present, hopefully. Yeah, we can just add in discuss CI as well. May as well whilst I'm doing this. Releases. First release of the library to disassemble ARC64 code. Yeah. In as a 32-bit library. One of the less useful things, but we'll sort out 64-bit CI later. That's going to be a bit more involved. I don't know why I said it that way. That was a bit weird. Right. If we jump back to the CI part here, where we've got this, we can put in copy link address, insert link address. Yeah. All right. So this is going to be fun, isn't it? Lots of bits here. checkout RISB, introduce CI. Add GitHub directory, add the row build YAML file. Introduction of the CI build, pulling in Darm and Armadillo releases. Armadillo library. Darm, the Armadillo library. The RISC OS zip kind of extractor. And then we extract the Darm library and Armadillo library, build the debugger module, test it all in some vague order, push. Right, we're not going to take bets on whether this works. It's unlikely to, given how many things we've just changed, but that's Darm, that's Armadillo, this is the debugger, these are the actions, and it didn't work in the very beginning. 9 seconds we got out of it. Obtain the archive management. Are you root? No, we're not root. No, we need to sudo that. Okay. Commit -a, amend, and then push it. Go. And the reason I use amend is so that we've only got one commit that's actually doing all this work, and then when we merge it, it's just something nice and simple, and we don't have lots of fix this, fix this, fix this, fix this, which is just tedious and doesn't benefit you. In my local history, I'll still have these things because I can do git reflog and get back to there if I need to. But right now, this isn't necessary. Still failed, but this got a different exit code. Ooh, ooh! Directory RISC OS not found. Oh, that probably means that. Yeah, that probably means that I've left something in the row build. Yeah, that there. There is no RISC OS directory, but the others worked. So look up here. It downloaded and extracted the release versions. How cool is that? Okay, yeah, fun. Let's remove that and then push this lot in, shall we? Sorry, tapping the table again. Shouldn't do that. Oh. So I need to go and look at the next set of actions. Still running. 18 seconds. Looking better here. Oh. Oh. Oh! We just haven't told it where the files are. Oh, that's easy enough. Yeah. So we just need to tell it where those new files are. So at the very top of here, we go set $path to be this directory. How do I do this directory? At. I may be a bit dim. I've forgotten how to do many things. $path. Oh, actually, it's not at. It's at .lib. There we go. Yeah, $path. Okay. In fact, we'll actually make sure we say what we're doing. Update cpath with the new libs downloaded. Cpath is, there we go, and that will give us a bit more information about what's going on. Push. Right. Back over to here again and look at the options. I'm going for nearly 2.5 hours and haven't quite got to the point where I've got the CI working. I mean, some of these bits I would get done a bit faster if I wasn't doing it as live coding, because I wouldn't be explaining things so much. And I'd be jumping back and forth more readily, I think. But all in all, I think I will be doing something quite similar. And I have a feeling that this is going to fail because of some problem with the build system on the remote servers. But oh no! Oh, look at that! Would you look at that? Look, we've got test. It ran stuff, and it worked. It returned a lot of OKs. I genuinely wasn't expecting that to work. This is looking good to me. It's not often that you get to play with things that are actually like nicely integrated and working. I mean, I'm not sure this is actually as nicely integrated, but it is. We've got 2 open source libraries that we had. They've been modified slightly to make them work better for my system. Then we've got the glue code that goes and pulls it together, and a bunch of other bits for RISC OS as well. That seemed to work. Was that dis file running? Yeah, it's dis file running things. And then those were built into libraries as part of the CI. All of that pulled into one place where we actually run the code. And then if this is working, we produce a final binary with no other interactions. And in theory, that means I can just tag it and it's another release for me. So, yeah, fingers crossed, we'll be having something that's working a bit better. So want to get these line numbers fixed. They are really being a bit irritating to me now. Actually, it's interesting that they don't tend to go much higher than 32,000. I think that is definitely a 32-bit, sorry, 16-bit problem short. Yeah, I've said that before. I didn't need to repeat myself. If I get a chance this week, I'll try and do some speed ups on this and try and get the line numbers fixed. Maybe. Oh no, I've also got a relocation stuff to fix for 64-bit. There's a lot of things I want to do. I just haven't had the energy of late. Had some problems with my tablets last week, and it made me very, very confused. Got me all out of sorts. Come on! It's really not exciting watching a build tool just go and churn through things. On the other hand, that is exciting. Seeing test run is nice. Yay! Final size is 164 bytes. That's not so yay. What happened there? So when we zip, do we zip the archive? We copy that to there. We copy that to there. Maybe I didn't put it in the right place. Maybe the archive, because yeah, this zip finalized final size 164 bytes. That's not a real thing. I try and download that. Yeah, 164 bytes. That's wrong. So what did we get wrong in this file? So we copied the artifacts into up.artifacts. We didn't put them in just artifacts. That's why. And then we archived a directory that didn't exist. That's okay. Yeah, so you can see here, result file, 24 bytes. Why did that print out? Yeah, no, that's the result file is the final copy of it. Right, so I think that should do it. If I've just moved to the artifacts there, if I check back in here, does it pull out the file call? Yeah, so we put it out there, put it into Debugger C, and this archives whatever the leaf name was, which is built up here. Okay, okay. So one more commit on that, and then it should be built all right for us. Whoa. Are you excited? Have you got the energy? One of the four more fun ways to see "Hello World" scroll by, says Chris. Yeah, it's not exactly the most exciting way of, the most obvious way of doing it. Although, one of the things, so if I just pyrodev command GOS. So I've been making some changes to the Pyromaniac disassembler. And I think this works. Does it work? Oh, I'm not sure actually. Oh, I don't think it does actually, come to think of it. No, if I do Pyromaniac, oh, I think this fails as well. I don't know. No, I think I'm just confused. So what I have done is made it, updated the code so that we don't disassemble things at breakpoints. So when you do, so if I do dump I hello world here, so do that. Here we've got, oh no, it's not this one. Oh, I don't know now. Where was it? Basically, I've made some changes to how os write s works, so that when you disassemble write s, it doesn't print out all the disassembly of these strings here, but we're using write 0, so it's not the case. And I'm confused, and that's not important. Yeah. This is version. Oh, my version number is in RISC. Oh, it's not there. It's here. It's giving it the wrong version number. No matter, we'll fix that one up as well. It's running a build right now, isn't it? But we know we can run 2 of them in parallel. Yeah, we'll do another one. What the hell? It's not going to matter. So one of the other things I was going to do was get the what they call the immediate constants extracted out. It's now 3:34, so 25 minutes left. Let's see what we get to with this, and then I'll give it a poke and see if we can actually get that bit working. Just going to grab some crisps. Yeah, crisps are always good. And whilst that's building, let's see what we can do about these this disassembly. Because I presume there must be something we can do with it. So in here we did something with the immediate constants. Yeah, we got this function called decode immediate, which we give a value to and the type of operation. So it's possible that these are the same sort of things we can look at on this. One interesting thing is, if we go back to Armadillo, where's Armadillo? It's this one, isn't it? We're going to Armadillo's actions here, and just spin to the end of the log. This one here. Spin to the end, and here. So if you look on this, you can see that we do decode what the operand type is and then the immediate value. And I can't decode immediate floats, but in uint looks like, oh look, in long, so ulong as well. So very interesting that we've got different ways of handling this. So yeah, that might give us some nice values here that we can decode. And I imagine we can do a similar way of doing it as we did it here, but well, possibly slightly different. Yeah, so we could probably just have a static buffer for the comment here. And then we'll put the comment data in here. Yeah, just a comment, the beginning of the comment buffer. Because if we don't write anything, then we won't append it, is what I'm planning on doing there. So what first thing we want to do is we want to find one of these immediate constants. So how do we do that? In the example code, there should be a way to do example for Armadillo. Where's the example gone? There it is. Right. This operand is of type. So that's disassembling a struct AD operand. So where do we get that from? So dis operand. All the way through the operands, do that, and that comes from an AD instant instruction, which is one of these, which is quite handy. We've called it an AD, not an instance, so we'll just change that to AD there. And rather than doing that, this is the operand, so we'll just go and give it a declaration struct AD operand. Is that a pointer? I presume it's a pointer. It's not a pointer. It actually gets copied by value. I don't really want to copy it by value. Let's use an ampersand on that. Star operand equals AD2. Okay. All right. So that'll give me an operand, and then if I look in disp operand, it tells us that type, this is the one we want, operand type is op immediate. Cool. If and then there's different types of them here for the different operations. Uint, long, and ulong. I could probably do all three of those as the same initially. There's one here that's got negatives on it. That's I think that probably is okay actually. I'm just going to try it and see what happens, because I think that'll be the best way to find out what works. If it's immediate, we can only handle certain ones of them. So what was the thing? It's operand immediate dot type, and we can handle it. I'll copy the code, it'll be quicker. I can just cut out the bits I need. There we go. So if operand op immediate or uint or long or is it ulong? Yeah. So this is going to come out wrong for the negative values, but for now I'm just going to ignore that as a issue and we'll just print it out. So hang on, how do we use it? Scroll back up here. I'm going to call all of them positive because I am. So value. Sorry, I've also lost what the value was. It's called. Oh, it's right in front of me. It's operand to op im dot bits. This is obviously a union that's got lots of different types in it. So can decode immediate return me a null? Decode immediate. No, it can't return as a null. It can only ever return it properly. All right, that's pretty simple. Yeah, we can do that. And then we just need to do. Yeah. Oh, I've lost it. Where was I? Armadillo. Yeah, so I lost what I was doing there. Right. Not if, because we know that it's always going to be valid. So if com is not equal to comment, com plus equals comma semicolon space. There we go. So there could be multiple operands in this that have got immediate values in. I don't think that there are any ARM operands that are like that, but actually there might be. There might be some that are for the shifts. But anyway, just in case there are, we're going to use that. And then we do to com. Sorry, I forgot about that. To com there. And then com plus equals sprintf com values. That'll build up the value on the end of it. Finally, if we get to here, if com is not equal to comment, string while I don't know where our comments appear normally. 24 it says there. We actually manipulate it in there slightly differently. Comment offset of 24. Actually, no, it's not 24, is it? 8 plus 24, it should be. Do start out plus plus equals space and oh, that's wrong because we copied the end of it, but we haven't updated out. Oh, I wonder if I'll just add it onto it. Out plus equals len in. There we go. Fine. And this will do the padding so we actually get to the right point. While out minus buffer is less than comment offset. So we've now padded it out. Then we can do sprintf to the output, semicolon, space, and then the comment line. Oh, comment. Yeah. I think that should accumulate us the right string. Should we try it? Should we see what happens? Is it just that command? It's that command, isn't it? Yes. Do it. You were working a moment ago, weren't you? Alright, let's... Or maybe I cleaned it out, I don't know. RISC OS, ammo, lib export, build 64. Yeah, I must have cleared it out at some point. Or maybe I haven't built the 64-bit version, I'm not sure. Also, that's got a pending change. Let me just go and push that, because that should be safe now. We just have a look at the... So this is the build that we were doing. Oh, it's not. This was the one that introduced CI. 219 kilobytes. So yes, that looks like it's generated as a binary. Excellent. So in Darm has now just been pushed to there. We've built it. We go and just run this build and then try doing the dump. I forgot to give this a minus an integer in there. So int I. What's this other thing here? Initializing discards const qualifier pointer target type. Ooh, yeah, good point. Let's make that const Charles. Right, build that. And then well, it did crash. What do we get here? Exception, data abort. We might need to put a bit of debug on this, I think, to see what's going wrong. It's interesting, isn't it? That failed. Debug trace block, and that'll give me more information about where it went wrong. Whilst you're doing that, I can go and move the unit constants should be commented. There we go. Oh, and Debugger C repository doesn't have any CI. That is now done. Yeah, so we're on that one there. Okay, so here we are. This is it testing it now. So, okay. What did we do? We got a data abort out of it. It was a read fault. It was trying to read something. We were in the sprintf routine. Interesting. And we were spinning down the sprintf. Lots of values being cleared. Yeah, ugly bits of setup code. Very first thing we tried to do, we ended up with this check and branch if 0. So it checks whether W0 is 0 and then goes off to there. But I think we've already crashed by that point because it could be anywhere in this block, but it's actually failed. R2, that could be a real address. SP, R2.18, X20. Oh, X20 is 0, so that is definitely broken. And that was coming in R1. Interesting. So whatever came into the vprintf in R1, which was the target, isn't it? sprintf to out. Not that, sorry, not that one there. This one here. So what? So that's where we entered the sprintf routine. We've got an address of this string here. So 23, 36, 39. It'd be nice if it printed that out as a string, wouldn't it? I don't know why it didn't, to be honest. Curious. What does that come out as? Pyrodev basic. And 3 and 36 and 39 and 36 and 32. That's the number. So it got a value out and it put that into x1. 0 is 48. That 48 is here's this one. That's the comment buffer. So that's checking whether it was the same. So that's this check here. And then print to the comment buffer. Except, no, it did, hang on. Check those things, and then it branched because they were the same. So that did not fire, and then it tried to do this. It should be the comment. Plus equals comment. Okay, can anybody see what I'm doing wrong here? Why this is stupid? I'm feeling confused because if the value that's being passed in is number 69262 and comment is comment here, which is this static buffer here, I'd have thought this would be okay. Okay, let's try it another way. Full tracing. The failure is it's getting a data abort somewhere inside the sprintf when it tries to read what looks like the first value, but here's where we're getting things out. And value looks to be correct. I think com looks to be correct. Let's stick some debug in it. Value equals. Is it writing to 0? It's reading from 0. Reading from 0. But why would it be reading from 0? I don't understand. Yeah, reading. Because it said it was a read fault up here. Fault address 0. Read fault. And it's in the middle of the printf, as if it's writing to the 0 value. But I don't understand why that would be. Hang on, did this give me any warnings? Did I actually get a compiler error that I ignored? Because I mean, if I ignored the compiler error, then that would be Darm. Not there, no. There's no compiler error in that. It's just coming out with a, and then when I do it, let me just check it again. Let me just check that this is really is failing. Yeah, really is failing. Yeah, printf. Value decoded. Comment. I'll set the comment to be empty as well, just to make it safe. And com pointer is comment null. Yeah, I'm just going to go and check that. So with all that in place, we should get something out that tells us what's going wrong. Or maybe I'll just go and write garbage com. Crashed again, good. But before it crashed, we printed out comment pointer, the comment, and com pointer. So those are the same. Value decoded null. Well, there we go. That's why it's dying. Although sprintf, I thought I'd made it print out a null when it received it. So maybe that was me being stupid. Either way, apparently decode immediate can return null. Decode immediate. Comment. Ah, if there was nothing to return, it doesn't bother. Oh, I feel stupid now. Oops, no, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to, not that file. This one here. Right, okay. So yes, the value is null. That's why it's failing. Why it's not printing out the string null, I'm not sure. But for now, oh, because that should be %s. It doesn't cope if the format string is null. If the format string is null, it crashes. Okay, I can make that happen. I can make that crash. I'll put in an assertion for that so it doesn't crash that way. If value not equal to null, and then we'll make it not do it here. Oh, this is just so very stupid when you make silly mistakes like that. It'd be really nice if if I had all this wired up so it could use the debugger information to tell me what line it was failing at. Oh, there we go. Look, we've got some constants coming out. Look, for the undefined instruction, that's not useful, but it is true nonetheless. This one coming out as a decimal value. This one coming out as decimal value. Another. That's not a decimal value. That's odd. Okay, we'll look into that one. Yeah, same goes for that one and that one. Okay, feeling good about that. These are definitely giving us things. I mean, even there, 32. It's character 2. You're right. I mean, no, this is all garbage, but it is correct. All right. So we've got parts of this working, not completely, but parts of it. And that means that we will be able to do something useful with it next time around. We can give that a bit more of a clean for the immediate constants. But let us go and stash this away for a moment. Check out master, merge in the introduced CI because that was working. On stash. Now I've got back our changes. Commit when there's a initial implementation of the disassembly of the ARC64 code. No, not code, immediate constants. Oops. SVC and what's the other one? UDF. Printed as something other as positive. Okay, so that's working. So we'll do a quick build. RISC OS ammo, make file. Yeah, there we go. We'll build the 64-bit version. Oh, push as well. So 64-bit version built. Build the 32-bit version as well. Apparently I didn't do an export. Oops, no. Go to the Darm window and do an export of the 32-bit version. Whee! And then build the module 32-bit as well. Move. Oh, come on. RM. Yep. So this copies the current modules that we've just built into the RISC OS 64 status repository. So, are we up to date on this? Yep. Check out master stash. Check out master and stash. Oh. Git add rm32/debugger and rm64 debugger. Oh, that says they haven't changed. That's not right. Okay, let's build them again and then copy them over. And 64-bit, please. Right, okay, so they're copied over. Status here. Yep. What do we say about the debugger in this? It says it's functional. Yep, it is. Debugger functional in 32. Yeah, I haven't said anything further. Just that I might as well update it. Okay, git status. Commit they. Update the debugger module with tidied up ARC64 output. The ARC64 output is now using capitalized mnemonics, using formatted commands, using simple immediate comments. Anything else we fixed? And has the mnemonic empty string fix. All right, so there we go. So if you now have a look at the RISC OS 64 status repo, which is here. No, not that one, that's the clib. This is the status. You should be able to see that there's new debugger modules. Debugger updated today. Yep, there we go. Right, so what have we got? Today we've managed to do the integration of the CI. Actually, let's go to the task board. Yeah, we're going to get the task board and check. Yeah, so we've got the CI integrated. Darm repo is broken after repo split, now fixed. Immediate constants not being done. Yeah, fair enough. Layout doesn't have space, that was fixed. Broken instruction was fixed. And the mnemonics not being capitalized. All sorted. So, looking good. Still got my problem with the build system. This is the relocation problem. I will have to look into that. But it's kind of independent of this. I've actually been trying to split up the... So this project board is a project for Gerph on the disassembler project, which is actually quite handy because there's some issues that are in the Debugger C repo and there's some that are in the Darm repo. Because they're specific to that. Actually, that shouldn't be in Darm. That should have moved over to Debugger as well. And the same could go for Armadillo as well. We could be having multiple issues with that. So this is actually quite useful. Right. I think that's worked out quite well. I will, as usual, go and post up the comments about what I've done on the RISC OS Open forums. And also on the Discord that's related to the programming community, the coding community. I'll try and get that up in the next few hours. I'm going to take a small break now and grab some real food, I think. And hopefully we'll be looking at some other bits of the tidy up next week. I'm not sure what we need to be doing. Probably there's the immediate constants, and fingers crossed we'll be able to test out some more of the disassembly. It'd be really nice to actually introduce a new chunk of code that actually exercises many of the different instruction forms, so we can actually see that it does work on those forms. But that's to come, I think. Hope you've enjoyed watching it and seeing how things are working. Sorry, I've been a bit confused and scatty today, but yeah, that's my own fault for staying up so late. I'll try not to do that. See you all later, and have a good weekend, what's left of it. Bye.